makers of history. The Declaration of Independence, July 2nd, 1776. We go to the hall in Philadelphia where the Second Continental Congress is in session, after Thomas Jefferson had drafted the Declaration and submitted it to John Adams and Benjamin Franklin. Richard Henry Lee, father of the resolution, has just finished speaking in favor of independence. Dickinson of Pennsylvania has opposed it. Francis Lewis of New York is speaking. John Hancock of Massachusetts is presiding.
The chair recognizes Francis Lewis of New York.
Gentlemen, Richard Henry Lee of Virginia has spoken to us most eloquently in behalf of independence, which, I might remind you, is the basis of his own resolution. Virginia, gentlemen, has given these colonies two great men, Richard Henry Lee and George Washington. I am not here, gentlemen, to say that I am an opponent of American independence. Neither can I say that I am here as an advocate of this independence. Gentlemen, my fellow representatives and myself from New York have not been instructed how we shall vote on the matter of colonial independence. In the light of this, we do not feel certain that we should be carrying out the desires of our colony if we should vote one way or another. We feel that without the vote of New York, the sentiment of this Congress can be as clearly indicated as with our vote. However, I feel that New York is entitled to the right to express its opinion in a matter which so vitally concerns us all. I request, therefore, that the matter of colonial independence be placed on the table and indefinitely delayed until the attitude of New York on the subject can be determined.
The chair recognizes John Adams of Massachusetts.
Gentlemen, I have this to say. The oppression of the colonies by England has never lessened. There is no reason to believe it will lessen now if we step backward and fail to assert our independence. War is going on as surely as though we were France and had been invaded by the red-coated hirelings of England. Our cause, if we must fight it alone, looks hopeless. England is rich, powerful, our men well-armed, well-fed, well-equipped. Gentlemen, we need an ally. We need the assistance of France. But France cannot come to the aid of a colony which is rebelling against England. France can rush to the assistance of a weaker nation besieged by a stronger. We have but one alternative. Alone, unassisted, we cannot wrest our freedom from England. As a free nation, assisted by France, we can do it. Our only hope, our only chance, gentlemen of the Second Continental Congress, is to take the final step necessary toward freedom and do it now. Gentlemen, this Congress must adopt the Declaration of Independence.
Our next scene is less formal. Let us go to the home of Philip Warren, a hot-headed old Tory, whom we find recovering from a cold and very uneasy of mind. His discomfort not lessened by the sudden arrival of young William Saunders to see Ruth, his granddaughter.
Well, so there you are. Can't leave a man to get well from his cold in peace.
Why now, Mr. Warren? I stopped by to inquire into your health and to see if there was anything I could do for you.
Young man, my health is excellent, and the best thing you can do to keep it good is to stay away from me. I declare, the sight of your face gives me a turn every time I see it.
I wish you would not feel so strongly against me, sir. I assure you that I have nothing but the kindliest feelings for you.
Kindly feelings. I'll bet you're the very soldier who shot my young nephew, John Warren, in the Battle of Concord.
Well, if it will relieve your feelings any, I can set you right in the matter. Unfortunately, I did not have a musket at the Battle of Concord. My only weapon was a drum.
That's worse than ever. If you're going to be a soldier, why don't you be a good one? A drum instead of a musket. Well, here comes Ruth. Maybe she'll enjoy talking to you. I'm sure I don't.
Good evening, William.
Oh, good evening, Ruth. You're looking sweeter than ever.
Of course I am. But tell me, what did the Congress do today? I was unable to go there. Grandmother needed me here at home.
Prepare yourself for a shock.
William, the colonies did not refuse to declare themselves independent.
Of course they did. No courage, no stomach, a lot of milksops.
Well, you're wrong, Mr. Warren. The Congress adopted Lee's resolution of independence.
What? They didn't dare.
Yes, they did dare. In fact, the matter was pretty well decided yesterday.
Yesterday, William.
Yes, it was put to a vote yesterday. 9 of the colonies voted for independence. 2, Pennsylvania and South Carolina, voted against it.
Good, loyal Englishmen they were. These men from Pennsylvania and South Carolina.
Very likely they were properly frightened of His Majesty's anger. The delegates from New York did not vote at all.
You say that vote was taken yesterday?
Yes, yesterday, July 1st. And today, July 2nd, the matter came up for a final vote. And Pennsylvania and South Carolina swung into line and voted for independence. Now, what do you think of that, Mr. Warren?
Traitors, turncoats, a lot of ninnies with no courage in their beliefs.
Then the resolution of independence was unanimously adopted?
Except for the absence of the New York vote, yes.
Then the date, July 2nd, will go down in history as one of the greatest of all days for America.
Yes. Do you know what John Adams said to the Congress after the resolution was adopted?
I can imagine he spoke strongly.
He certainly did. He said, "Gentlemen, this day, July 2nd, will be the most memorable epoch in the history of America. This day will be celebrated by succeeding generations as the great anniversary festival. It ought to be commemorated as the Day of the Deliverance by solemn acts of devotion to God Almighty. It ought to be solemnized by pomp and parade with shows, games, sports, guns, bells, bonfires, and illuminations from one end of this continent to the other, from this time forward, forevermore."
Tommy rot.
But, Mr. Warren, one moment, please. Now, for months, I've kept my peace while you ranted and raved about His Majesty George III. I believe the time has come for me to speak my mind to you.
You dare speak to me like this in my own house?
William, dear, I beg of you.
I must speak, Ruth, darling. Your grandfather means well, but he holds mistaken political views which are apt to get him into trouble.
I'll attend to my own affairs, young man, and you mind yours.
After I have said what I have to say, I shall hold my tongue. But look you, Philip Warren, you were born an Englishman. Yet you found the government of George III so intolerable that you sought refuge in America.
Why, you can't talk to me like this. Why?
There you found refuge, until His Majesty's long arm reached out and harnessed you with unjust taxes, with cruel boycotts, with merciless legislations, and finally with murder.
You accuse His Majesty of murder?
For what else could you call the slaughter of our men at Bunker Hill? What else could you call the burning and pillaging of Falmouth, when 1,000 persons were made homeless on the eve of a bitterly cold winter?
I hadn't thought of those things.
Philip Warren, the men of the colonies are laying down their lives to save you and your kind from greater persecution. Mothers are sending their sons to the battlefields to die. Wives are sacrificing their husbands so that America may provide you with that freedom from persecution which you came here to seek.
William, you're making me see things I never stopped to consider.
I know it, and I'm not finished. The American troops under Ethan Allen have taken Ticonderoga. Montgomery and Arnold have invaded Canada. Washington and his men are at this moment engaging the troops of His Majesty under Howe, Clinton, and Burgoyne. If the American army fails you, your lot will be a pitiful one indeed. The new united colonies need your support, and the support of every man, woman, and child in America.
And they shall have it. I see now. I've been a stubborn old fool, William. I've allowed myself to be swept along by a dream, a foolish dream. Ruth, where's my musket? I'll join Washington's army at once.
You'll do no such thing. You'll stay right here at home and hold the yarn while I knit stockings for the boys.
Obey your general, grandfather. But first, you have a more important duty. Tomorrow, you go with Ruth and me to the clerk, who will make us man and wife.
What? You're going to marry William?
Tomorrow at noon, grandfather.
On July 2nd, 1776, the Second Continental Congress adopted Richard Henry Lee's resolution of independence. 2 days later, on July 4th, Jefferson's Declaration was adopted. It was not until August 2nd, 1776, however, that the great document was signed. We go now to the hall where the Congress is meeting on August 2nd.
Gentlemen of the Second Continental Congress, the Declaration of Independence is ready for your signatures. You have all read it. It has been adopted by your unanimous vote. The quill and the ink await your hands. Let there be no further delay. Here, I shall write my own name, John Hancock, in letters so large the King of England can read it across the ocean without his spectacles. Benjamin Franklin, your signature. And let me remind you, sir, that you are committing an act of treason against His Majesty George III.
Well, my friend, we must hang together or we shall hang separately.
Charles Carroll of Maryland, your signature, sir.
And I am proud to affix it, John Hancock.
You're safe enough in signing. There are so many Carrolls, the British will not know just which one of them is Charles Carroll.
Then look, I write the words Charles Carroll of Carrollton, so there can be no mistake about my identity.
What is that distant bell?
That, my friend, is the Liberty Bell. The people have heard that we are signing the Declaration of Independence. They are beginning their celebration.
The Liberty Bell was first rung on July 8th, after the citizens of Philadelphia learned of the adoption of the Declaration of Independence. It was rung again on August 2nd, when the Declaration was signed. But because of its adoption on July 4th, that date is celebrated as Independence Day.